Self-walking crutches and robotic kitchens, self-sealing zeppelins and MP3 mittens, surgical tools made of duct tape and springs. These are a few of my favorite things. Students who cover their notebooks with doodles, don't sleep at all and live on ramen noodles. No social life and the phone never rings. These are a few of my favorite things. Focus your energies all down one channel. Grovel before an omnipotent panel. Slave fall and winter for one night in spring. That's why InVenture's a wonderful thing. Finally, you have it, your brilliant invention. You make the finals, the room's filled with tension. Test each connection and check every gauge. Live on TV, the thing blows up on stage. All the weekends, all the failures, all the pain you've had. But then your invention wins you 15 grand. My friend, you won't feel so bad.
Live from the campus of the Georgia Institute of Technology, it's the 2012 Georgia Tech InVenture Prize. Join us as the nation's finest students unveil the future and compete to win $15,000. Now, please welcome back your host, New York Times personal technology columnist, David Pogue.
Thank you. Thanks very much, and welcome to the 2012 Georgia Tech InVenture Prize. I'm David Pogue, your host for the evening, and I'm really looking forward to tonight's event. I live my life surrounded by technology. I review gadgets for the New York Times, but tonight I'm going to get to see the future. We'll peek into the future of what's coming down the pike in technology. We've got some truly brilliant students on the stage tonight. They're going to blow your mind with inventions that run the gamut. We have everything from life-saving medical devices to an inflatable ramp that'll help wakeboarders catch some more air. That's right up my alley, obviously. But before we get to the inventions, I want to introduce a woman who will be helping me all night long. She's not only a professor here at Georgia Tech, she's also a graduate, having just gained her doctorate in biochemistry from Georgia Tech. Here to explain the voting for the People's Choice Award tonight, please welcome Dr. Bahara Azizi.
Winner. And $10,000 for our runner-up tonight. You at home will also be able to help us give the award of $5,000 for our People's Choice category. Simply put, that's the invention you like best, no matter what our judges say. After all the contestants have demonstrated their inventions, we'll give you their texting code, similar to what you see on the screen now. You'll be able to text your vote for your People's Choice, or you can go online to vote at www.pollev.com/inventure. More on this when it's time, but for now, back to you, David.
Thanks, Bahara. Now, I know a lot of you probably have a lot of questions tonight. How do people get to this stage? What happened to last year's winners? Is it ever possible for an engineer to be cool? Why is that funny? We're going to be answering all of those questions tonight, but right now I want to introduce our first pair of finalists. These guys have been friends since the 6th grade, and once you see their boyish looks, you'll realize that was like 3 weeks ago. Meet Team Entrepic Wake.
I'm Spencer Price, half of Team Entrepic Wake. My partner is Graham Wicks, and we actually met in 6th grade in middle school. Ever since we met, Graham and I have been very into extreme sports and building things ourselves. But one of our favorite extreme sports is wakeboarding. Just fun to get dragged behind the boat all day and try out new tricks. In competitions, the wakeboarders use jumps, rails, and other sorts of obstacles, but it's very hard for most individuals to use that on their lake on a daily basis. A huge problem with floating obstacles is when a force hits a floating obstacle, it doesn't want to stay in place. It wants to move with the force and move horizontally with it. Our invention solved this problem, and it is extremely fun to use. Graham and I actually came up with this idea here at Georgia Tech. However, since then, we've lived on opposite sides of the country, and we've had to Skype 2 or 3 times a week to make sure that we're on top of everything. Now we have an invention that's light enough for people to carry around, but remains heavy enough while in the water to stay stable. And we're extremely proud of the idea that we came up with, especially since it hasn't been used before.
And now here they are in the flesh, ladies and gentlemen, the future of small-time wakeboarding, Team Entrepic Wake.
This past year, more than 269 million people across 192 countries tuned in to watch the Summer X Games. Extreme sports are everywhere. It's a lifestyle, and it's all about pushing yourself to the limit, catching air off ramps, grinding rails, and doing all sorts of tricks to achieve what was previously thought impossible. I'm Spencer Price, and this is my teammate Graham Wicks. He's an avid wakeboarder, excited for his day out on the lake. But unlike skateboarders and snowboarders who have ramps and rails readily accessible to him, he can only jump off the wake behind his boat. That's because there are only 27 wakeboard parks in the United States with rails readily available for him. And similar to the rest of the 3.5 million wakeboarders in this country, he lives nowhere close to one. So you gotta wonder, what do wakeboarders and people like Graham really need?
What I really need is my own rail that's portable enough to take with me anywhere, but stable enough on the water that it actually works.
And you know, that's really hard to do, because physics tells us that when a force hits a floating object, it's gonna move. And that's why other companies have stayed away from this product. But we've solved all of those problems with the Intrepid Wake Slider, a rigid, portable, and customizable rail system for personal use in extreme water sports. The key component of this slider is the water parachute that serves two main functions. The first is that it hangs below the system, catches water, and creates enough drag to prevent the system from moving forward any more than a foot or two, which is unnoticeable to the rider. The second is that it doubles as a carrying case. With the floats deflated and the rails disassembled, it all fits neatly inside so that you can take it home after your day at the lake. Altogether, this system weighs less than 75 pounds. It can easily be stored in a car trunk or on a boat, and it takes less than 15 minutes to set up or break down. On top of that, you can purchase add-on units to lengthen or change the shape of the slider so that you can customize your setup throughout the day. Through these innovations, the Intrepid Wake Slider meets and exceeds all necessary needs for stability, portability, customizability, as well as a safe challenge, because you can't always be successful. The water sports industry brings in $1 billion on a yearly basis, with $400 million of that coming from wakeboard hard goods, which are purchased online and in hundreds of pro shops across the country, as well as more than 65 foreign countries. 78% of a surveyed wakeboard population said that they were very interested in owning their own slider. And through partnerships with our manufacturers, our current one will retail at $1,000, which more than 85% of interested wakeboarders are willing to pay, with almost 40% willing to pay even more. By winning the InVenture prize, we could have our first round of products in-house for the summer season, allowing us to jumpstart our marketing process, as well as finalize plans with pro shops so that they can use sliders in their local competitions, currently not possible in this sport. But most importantly, the Intrepid Wake Slider gives wakeboarders and wake skaters across the country, like Graham, the ability to hit rails on a daily basis, pushing their skill level and the sport as a whole to the next level, as we give them the challenge to define impossible.
Well done, gentlemen. And the cool thing is I believe it doubles as an iPad carrying case. So, all right, guys, now you get the hard part. You get to be grilled by our panel of judges. I'll be introducing them momentarily, but let's dive right into Georgia Tech alumnus and returning judge, Dr. Deborah Kilpatrick. Deb.
Thank you, David. First of all, you made me want to wakeboard, so great marketing, okay? Second of all, my question really is about the design element of aluminum that you've put into this design, from what I've read. And on the one hand, you get a lot of strength for the cost, and it's a great material for many applications. On the other hand, in recreational settings, and mountain bike frames are a great example of this, that where aluminum is used and it's getting heavily cyclically loaded over time, there have been failures known to happen. And so my question is, have you looked at other materials for such an important part of the structure, and what's your thought on that?
We've looked at several other plastics and composites, but there's nothing really that can match aluminum on its strength and cost.
As well as the fact that it remains low weight, so we need to be able to take it with us.
So concrete wouldn't cut it?
Concrete would not cut it, unfortunately.
Okay, our second judge is another returning judge. He's the president and the CEO of a company called Cryosalis, David Phelps.
How are you going to distribute the product? Are you going to license a company, or are you going to try to build a company and make it and distribute the product yourself?
Yeah, we're planning on distributing ourselves. We have manufacturers making the floats and the rails, which they'll then ship to us, and then we'll be in direct contact with the dealers.
And we'll sell those online as well as through local pro shops.
Excellent. And our third judge here for the first time, but he is a veteran of Facebook. This man worked at Facebook, and you are breathing the same air. Mr. Paul Ollinger.
Thanks, guys. This is cool stuff. I want you to know I actually pulled a muscle watching your presentation, so thank you. So this is a really cool technology. Does it have any other applications outside of the water sports industry in shipping or other kinds of boating or aquatic type applications?
Are you speaking about the water parachute that we're using?
I am, yeah, sorry.
Well, actually, there are similar products out there. It doesn't work in the same way, but for boats that are out on deep sea, they'll drop one way down in the water to help stabilize themselves, because when they're out in deep sea, there's no way that they can anchor themselves. So we have been looking into possible other uses for the technology, but right now we're focusing on this.
Cool. I like the idea of a water parachute, though. Think of all the people who learned to skydive underwater. It worked better in rehearsal. Thank you very much to our judges, and thank you, gentlemen. Sounds good. Good luck tonight. It seems as though Intrepid Wake has a whole cheering section here, and in fact, the lovely Bahara is standing by with one of their cheering section. Bahara?
I am, David. Actually, indeed, I'm standing by with Spencer's mother. This is Shirley Price. Nice skier, Shirley.
Thank you.
So, Shirley, how proud are you of Spencer tonight?
Oh, we're very proud of him. He is always trying to invent things, and so I think this is a real winner.
So did you really believe him when he used to say, I'm going to the lake to invent a brilliant invention? I mean, really?
Well, you know, he used to go out in the woods with Graham, and they said they were inventing things, so I always wondered about that, too.
There might be another invention up the works, you don't know. Well, if you at home also want to support Team Intrepid Wake for the People's Choice Award, make sure to text WAKE to 22333 or go online and vote. Back to you, David.
And ma'am, if you'd like to know what they were doing in the woods, talk to me later. Now, you briefly met our three judges who will be asking the grilling questions this evening, but now let's learn a little more about them. Deborah, give us the resume.
Sure. I'm currently Senior Vice President at a company in Palo Alto, California, focused on cardiovascular genomic diagnostics called CardioDX. More importantly to this audience, I'm a GT cubed, which means my bachelor's, master's, and PhD are all from the Georgia State College of Engineering. Go Jackets.
It's good to have you back. And good to have you back, Mr. David Phelps. Tell us a little about yourself.
I work at Cryosalis, which is the world's most comprehensive peptide pharmaceutical company. We make everything from peptides and amino acids all the way through FDA-approved drugs and the instruments that synthesize peptides.
You know, I've worked with some of the lesser peptide pharmaceutical companies, and let me tell you, yours really is number one. And Paul Ollinger from Facebook, give us a little more detail.
I'm a 15-year veteran of the interactive and social media world, the last 4.5 of which I spent with a little company in Palo Alto called Facebook.
Excellent. We're glad you guys could join us tonight. Now, as you saw with our first contestants, each team is going to have 3 minutes to present their ideas. After that, they will be grilled mercilessly, or perhaps praised effusively, by our esteemed judges. Once all 6 teams have completed their presentations, our judges will retire to their hidden lair, they will deliberate, and they will decide which team will take home that first prize of 15,000 simoleons. The second place, a tidy 10,000 smackers. Oh, and the winners will also receive admission to Flashpoint, which is Georgia Tech's Business Accelerator program, and they get the free services of a handsome patent attorney. Something that can come in handy when you have a brain capable of coming up ideas as clever as the ones you'll be seeing here tonight. So, with all that business out of the way, let's meet our second team.
I'm Kevin.
Benji.
I'm Priya.
I'm Matt.
And we invented the Boss sternal retractor. During open heart surgery, one of the main problems they experience is the large amount of blood that is lost from the cut breastbone. Later on down the road, there is some association with blood transfusions and mortality. We worked together to redesign the current device so that there will be less blood loss and therefore less mortality.
I think one of the best aspects of this particular project is it's a biomedical related project, but it has a purely mechanical aspect to it.
It was very new to us working in the machine shops, so we had a very limited experience with that.
Yeah, just hold over that.
We figured out everyone's strengths and weaknesses. Kevin and Benji are really good at the hands-on aspect and really were good with the building and visualizing the designs that we had started to work on.
That's something that's, I think, fascinated both of us, that we could apply our engineering talents and abilities to something that has a real-world clinical impact on people.
This was definitely one of the most hands-on experiences I had in my college career.
Now, I'm guessing you guys did not... I'm guessing you guys did not come up with this idea of fumbling around in the woods, did you? Give us the spiel.
Hi, I'm Priya. This is Kevin, Benji, and Matt, and we're Team Cardiac Tech. Imagine yourself lying on an operating room table with your chest cut open, getting ready to have cardiac surgery. This is happening somewhere in the United States every minute, and cardiac surgeons are using this device. When they cut open the chest and open it apart, there's blood continuously oozing out of the cut chest bone during the entire 4 to 6 hour operation. All of this blood can obstruct the surgeon's view to the heart, and what's worse is these hooks on the blade are doing nothing to stop the blood loss. Another problem is the current device opens parallel, and because the upper ribs are tighter than the lower ribs, this parallel opening can crack and overextend the upper ribs. So what we did is we made sure we wanted to replace all of this blood loss. So what surgeons do today is they're forced to replace all of the blood loss with blood transfusions. But this comes at a risk to you, the patient. With just one blood transfusion, it can increase your risk of post-operative complications, make your recovery time longer, and make you 7 times more likely to die from a stroke. So we here at Cardiac Tech, a team of mechanical and biomedical engineers, were approached by the head of cardiothoracic surgery at Emory Hospital to solve these problems. So think about when you get a cut, like a paper cut on your finger. What's the first thing that you do? You apply pressure to stop the bleeding, right? And that's exactly what we've done here with Cardiac Tech. We've redesigned the blade, which is the actual part of the device that contacts the cut chest bone, and we've redesigned it so that it will now cover the entire exposed bone to reduce bleeding. We've also added an angled self-adjusting opening, so when the surgeon is opening up your chest, it will now open at an angle to prevent any rib fracture. Now, we wanted to make sure that Cardiac Tech would be a seamless transition for cardiac surgeons. So we worked with the team of cardiac surgeons at Emory Hospital and observed surgeries to make sure that our device looks, feels, and works the same way as the current device. We know that cardiac surgeons will want this device because it's the first device on the market to address these problems. And we've talked to Emory cardiac surgeons that are ready to use it today to start improving patient outcome. Hospitals will want Cardiac Tech because less blood loss means fewer blood transfusions, so we can improve patient care and reduce the cost of surgery by 5%. Now, a key part of our design is that the blades that I mentioned are made of disposable material. So after speaking with hospital purchasing agents, we know they will want Cardiac Tech because it creates a constant revenue stream for the hospital, and they can bill for the use of each surgery that uses Cardiac Tech. Now, the next thing that we'll do is complete a 510K to get FDA approval, and we will competitively price this based on the current market to expect a yield of a profit margin of over 60%. So during the length of this show, more than 90 people will have had an operation using this device. With your help winning the InVenture prize, we can help almost 1 million people every year with Cardiac Tech. With your help and your vote, we can move forward and bring cardiac surgery to the 21st century and start saving lives, one sternum at a time.
Wow, did you memorize all of that?
I did memorize most of it, yes.
Don't female engineers rock? Okay, of course, I understood all of that, but I'm sure the judges might have some questions for you. Judges?
When you release the frame, is there any problem with clotting or emboli that comes from removing the bracket?
Are you speaking of the blades when they contact the cut sternum?
Yes.
So when they contact the cut sternum, that completely seals all of the blood, and that blood will clot there, but that presents no problem to the patient. They're given heparin during the procedure, so the blood is actually thinned. So when they go to sew up the patient, the clotted blood presents no problem for sewing up the chest.
Okay, and then on the reimbursement, you said it's disposable now. Is there a CPT code, or is there a way for the hospitals to bill for the disposable?
Yes, so there is a disposable model on the market right now, so we would follow the same reimbursement model as that.
And dude, I think some Tide would do well on your smock there. All right.
Too much blood loss.
You made your point. All right, thank you very much, you guys. And now I believe Bahara is bursting at the seams to bring us a special report from some future inventors.
That's right, David. I have some future inventors right here with me from the FIRST Robotics team from Kell High School in Marietta, Georgia. This is Shannon and Matthew. So Shannon, tell us a little about your team.
Well, we're with Kell Robotics, and we have about 24 students on our team, and every year we build a competition robot, and this year we built a basketball playing robot, which we're going to exhibit at the Gwinnett Center this weekend for the FIRST Robotics competition, and it should be a lot of fun.
Oh my God, that sounds so cool. So I heard that you recently went to the White House. Is that correct, Matthew?
Yes, we got to exhibit our Lemelson MIT InVenTeam project, Orca. Orca is an oil-skimming amphibious robot for shallow water estuaries. We got to meet a lot of cool people in DC, such as Bill Nye the Science Guy, and we had a great time.
Wow. I think I should be invited next time. What do you think? All right, so tell me, what do you think about cardiac tech? Do you think it's an invention that's going to win tonight?
Sounds like a great idea.
Oh, that's great. So if you also at home think it's a great idea and you want to vote for Team Cardiac Tech, then you have to vote online or text cardiac to 22333. Thank you, David. Back to you.
Most of you guys are engineers and students yourselves, right? Okay, then you're going to love, this is the best engineer joke ever. Okay, how can you tell an introverted engineer from an extroverted engineer? The introvert, thanks for asking. The introverted engineer looks at his shoes when he's talking to you. The extroverted engineer looks at your shoes. Thank you, and good night. Now, you've already seen from our first two teams that it takes a lot of work to make it to the stage, but now we have a little video that's going to show you even in more depth what it's like to take the walk to the road to the InVenture Prize stage.
For some, it begins as an assignment.
There are questions to which you don't know the answers.
For others, it's about the pursuit of a passion that began years ago.
I've always wanted to be an inventor.
But they all have one thing in common.
We're going to win the InVenture Prize.
Shooter is going to win the InVenture Prize.
I think I'll win the InVenture Prize.
We think that we're going to win the InVenture Prize.
They all want to win. The road to the InVenture Prize begins right after we turn off the lights on the previous year's competition with 500 students. By the time we make it to the preliminary round in January, less than 50 teams remain. For the semifinals, that number is cut in half again. And that's when the InVenture Prize organizers deliver some tough love.
You're going to come up against some very hard problems.
I'm missing something here.
You're going to do better than that, right?
And this is better because of what?
What evidence do you have that this will work?
Just tell me what it is.
Of course, it's not all doom and gloom.
It's the best thing since my mother's apple pie.
I think this is like one of the coolest things I've ever heard.
So we're just trying to help you to take it to the next level.
The semifinals are also where some of the teams really begin to shine.
I love what you're going after.
That's very cool.
And those who rise to the top become finalists. The 6 teams who have overcome countless obstacles to make it to our stage tonight.
I think this is one of the great inventions of the competition this year.
Of course, there's still just one little hurdle left: winning the whole thing.
Dude, you're holding out the applause sign in the middle of important things. Chill. Sorry. I'm sure they'll edit right that out of the tape. Yeah. So where were we? American Idol for Geeks. That's what they call us. Anyway, you've seen a couple of teams already. Let's meet our next contestant of the 6 finalists.
I'm Drunquist, and my team is Course Shark. I'm a computer science major, and I've loved computers ever since I was a small kid. When students are setting up their schedule, they're looking to see, first off, which classes fit together. They want to know what classes their friends are taking. Students also look for what professors are teaching their courses, which ones are easy professors, which ones are good professors, what's the average GPA for the course. I literally saw students taking Post-it notes and just sticking them all over their walls. And this class goes here, this class goes here, and rearrange the entire schedule just to get a good idea of what they were actually signing up for. I'm thinking there must be a better way to do this. There's obviously a problem here. Students are spending too much time and too much effort to figure out their schedule, especially when they're getting the information off of the internet already. So I was able to improve the system greatly by allowing students to do things that they couldn't normally do. Currently, there are 1,500 students using the website. The growth has been exponential and everybody's been giving great feedback.
Ladies and gentlemen, Team Course Shark is here, live and in person. Somehow we've managed to fit all of them onto this tiny stage. Go ahead.
All right, so I'm James Runquist, and my partner Greg Cobb wasn't able to be here tonight. He was in California. Every semester, millions of college students go to register for their classes, and they find themselves using tools that just aren't working for them. We found that this is a symptom of the large disconnect between the school's motives and their own. The school just wants to get all the students registered as quickly as possible. They don't much care how. But the students want to make the perfect schedule. They want classes that don't start too early or end too late. They want to take the perfect professors, and of course they want to schedule with their friends. The tools offered by schools today don't even meet the basic needs of the students. They basically just present large tables of information showing you all the classes when they're offered, and they don't let you easily browse the classes, plan out your classes, or even visualize your whole schedule. These disconnects make exploring different potential classes painful and virtually impossible. And on top of that, if students want to see what classes their friends are taking, they have to call each friend individually and say, hey, what are you taking this semester? There has to be a better way to do this. Course Shark is the better way to do this. Course Shark gives students the tools they need to make the schedule that they want. Course Shark takes the thousands of tables of information the schools give and magically transforms them into a beautiful display that the students can use to make the perfect schedule. Students can effortlessly see what classes are offered, find the ones that they need, get notifications when availability of classes changes, and even coordinate with their friends and invite them to take the same classes. We've been testing the waters with Course Shark Beta and Alpha here at Tech for 2 semesters, and I've already had thousands of students sign up, and the feedback has just been wonderful. They've told us that it's made the entire process so much simpler and even completely saved their semester. Even the registrar at Georgia Tech has told us that this is setting the bar for how well registration systems need to be, and is currently looking for funding to keep us going here at Georgia Tech. But so far, we haven't needed that, because we found that students will actually pay us for some of the features that we can offer them with the information we have. Of course, this isn't just a problem at Georgia Tech, so we've already expanded Course Shark to 2 additional schools starting in August, and have identified an additional 50 more schools that use the same systems as Georgia Tech, so expanding to them will be as easy as flipping a switch. And when we do flip that switch, we will be able to help over 900,000 more students make their perfect schedule. Even better, we know these problems that Course Shark solves aren't just limited to schools. We've seen them in movie theaters, in hospitals, in restaurants, and most notably conferences. All of these things have large blocks of schedules of events that are taking place, and the attendees have to pick the times. And our solution already solves that problem and is miles ahead of a lot of the existing solutions on the market. So in closing, we know the problem is there and that the market is there too. We already have thousands of excited students using CourseShark.com and tons more schools lined up. We realize the full potential of what we've built, and we're working hard to make Course Shark not just the solution for scheduling schools, but the solution for all your scheduling problems. Thank you.
Now, James, is it? Young man?
Yeah.
I couldn't help but notice that your master plan is to start at Georgia Tech, move on to another couple schools, gradually infiltrate all the colleges of the world.
Absolutely.
There's another company that had the same plan. Facebook. Copycat. Anyway, so I think this is an idea that really has teeth. Thank you very much. You're so kind. Thank you. But of course, it doesn't matter what I think. What really matters is what the judges think. Judges?
Several rows of teeth, in fact, actually. You know, if your business is a success, you'll take away all the excuses for students sleeping through class. So you might want to rethink that whole proposition. All right. Okay, so yes, you could spread campus to campus if students adopt it. What's the price point, and how willing do you think they're going to be to pay for it?
All right, this last semester, what we actually sell is notifications for seating availability. When a class is full, a lot of times students make their schedule ahead of time, and they spend tons of time doing that. And then they go to sign up for the classes only to find that one of them is already filled up because all of these other students had earlier time slots. So what we do is we actually watch that class automatically with our servers, looking for when someone drops one of those seats. And then we'll notify the student as soon as that happens and tell them, hey, your section of physics, whatever, it now has one seat open, so you should go sign up now. This last semester, we tried to monetize on that one, and we charged $5 per notification, and we got tons of feedback. Not as many people were using it, of course, when it was free, but we're definitely still trying to find our exact price point because we haven't really seen much else on the market that does something like that. So we're definitely exploring different price points to see what students are willing to pay for that.
Could somebody explain the term price point? Is that different from price? Thank you. You and I, pal. Special interest group tonight, 10 o'clock. So are you yourself the programmer?
Yeah, I've done most of the programming. My partner Greg has recently been helping in a lot, just basically taking care of a lot of the good stuff. But he also helps a lot with like the general idea of the thing, because I get into programming mode and just go. And I'm like, oh, I should do this feature. And he's like, how about we think about which feature we actually should do first. So he's been a great help.
But I think you're doing devastating damage to the time-honored image of geeks as skinny, non-athletic, pimply people.
My bad.
And wait till you win this thing. So, like, Deb, how does this strike you in terms of the way we did it when we were youth? Did you guys have the blue book when you were at Georgia Tech?
Yeah, both David and I remember in line at the old basketball stadium, in line in an air-conditioned basketball stadium with punch cards, trying to register for Georgia Tech classes. So I would love to course chart my way into freshman calculus nowadays.
Oh yes, please, yes. Hey James, one more all-important question. Is there an app for that?
Not yet, but it works on mobile phones, so.
Wait, how? Oh, you mean the one that has a browser?
Yeah.
Not pieces of crap like the BlackBerry.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. It's just what do you all work for RIM? All right, let me see something. Swing the camera around. How many of you have an iPhone? Raise your hand high. Oh my gosh, market share. Okay, how many of you have an Android phone? Raise your hand high. And let's do this just to be complete. How many have a Windows 7 phone? What's your social life like? That's amazing. That is the triumph of marketing. Do you think you have the marketing skills of a Steve Jobs?
Yeah, I hope so.
Oh, come on! Your eye just twitched like I'm lying. David, what's your take on all this?
Are there any privacy issues with the data?
So far, friends can only add other friends. Like you have to approve everyone who can see your schedule. That's what we see as being the potential privacy issue there. So far, we think we've covered it by letting you basically have to grant permission to anyone who can see your schedule. As far as collecting the data from the schools, that's all freely available, so we don't see any issues there.
But Paul, haven't we essentially lost any shreds of privacy we had left anyway? Thanks to you people?
Not for the people that are managing their privacy settings appropriately.
He has drunk the Kool-Aid, people! He's spouting the party line. All right, well, James, thank you very much. Beautiful job.
Thank you.
Now we have another take on Course Shark, presented by the lovely Bahara. Where are you, Bahara?
I'm here, David. Actually, I'm a BlackBerry user. Thank you very much.
No hard
But
feelings.
anyway, since I'm here, I'm actually here with Kevin, who is a Course Shark supporter. So tell me, Kevin, what is so cool about this?
It's just been awesome. I wasn't quite on punch cards, but when I came to the school, you go through these long lists. You don't know how it's going to fit together, and basically you're just throwing it together. I've been friends with James since he was starting this, and I've been using it since beta, and it's been fantastic.
Well, so in this case, I mean, a lot of your classes turn out to be like big parties because you're with your friends all the time.
I guess you could say that if you replace beverages with books and fun with studying.
Uh-huh. Mm-hmm. I know what it's like at Tech. I'm sure there are beverages everywhere. So let me ask you a question. Would you take an 8 a.m. class in the spring where the weather is a little bit colder with our host here, David Pogue?
I'm not so sure about that.
Oh. Well, I would concur with you, especially after the BlackBerry comment. But okay, now the real question is, would you take an 8 a.m. class, a science class, of course, since I teach science classes, with myself in the spring in the cold, cold weather? And just speak out.
Absolutely.
Oh, thank you. In that case, I support, just as Kevin does here, Team Course Shark. So if you want to vote for Team Course Shark, you want to text C-Shark to 22333 or go online to vote. David, back to you.
What, you louse? That was the most unfair audience polling I've ever seen. You have a blow dryer. This whole thing is rigged to high heaven. Anyway, you've now met 3 of our finalists. Now let's take a look at the first of the next 3.
I'm Daphne. Elizabeth.
And Kunal, and we are Team Rehand.
We chose hand rehabilitation for our senior design project. We found that millions of people were affected by hand disabilities and in need of a product that would help them with hand rehabilitation.
The technology provides patients with motivation to do therapy on their own.
I've only used it a couple times, and the times that I've used it, like just in 10 minutes, it's been a finger workout. It's pretty cool. I've never seen anything like this.
It's really a multidisciplinary approach to this device. We combined our education, parts of electrical engineering, computer science.
That captures the essence of biomedical engineering.
And to see something that's actually unique and coming together, I think that kept us going throughout the whole process.
I think this device has filled a niche that is very much needed in rehabilitation.
That's something that really excited me, and I'm really us as a group. This is actually solving a problem that people want solved.
So, before I let you guys go, are you guys familiar with the maker movement, the maker fairs? You all have to be, right? And Kickstarter, you know what Kickstarter is? Are you stage fright or what? You've never heard of Kickstarter?
Tell us a little more about it.
Oh my holy God. Okay, Kickstarter is a huge, very important website for people who invent things. And if they didn't happen to become an InVenture Prize finalist, they can go on this website and they can put a video and a description, and the public at large contributes your kickstarting money. You give them no rights, you give them no ownership, you give them like a t-shirt. But people do it because they want to see you succeed, and they give you just a little bit. I guess my larger point, which all of you missed, is that we live in an age where geekdom and invention are celebrated. This stuff is hot all of a sudden, and I'm thrilled to see all of you guys embracing this new movement, as I'm sure you guys have. I see that you really have your hand on the pulse of, you really put your finger on this. Okay, go ahead.
Hello, everyone. I'm Elizabeth. This is Daphne, Kunal, and Al-Kindi, and we are Team Rehand. There are 30 million people in the US alone who suffer from hand weaknesses. They leave them unable to do things, like from carpal tunnel to arthritis to stroke. They can no longer button their shirt or hold a toothbrush. Doctors tell these people, just go home and work on a stress ball. You'll get back your strength and dexterity. Now, these are really simplistic looking, and they are, and people don't use them. Al-Kindi's going to be bringing the judges you one right now. Please, while I'm speaking today for just 3 minutes, use this stress ball. Now imagine you need to use that stress ball 1 hour a day, every day of the week, for months, for years, for a lifetime. Like any other skill, if you don't do it, you lose it. And people in rehabilitation aren't doing it. And we believe bringing technology can change the field of home rehabilitation. Rehand is a hand rehabilitation device which works to gain back strength, dexterity, and coordination in the hands and fingers. The handle allows for individual finger movement and strength. The base allows for wrist movement, and the technology allows for gaming. It makes rehabilitation fun again. All the data can be tracked, graphed, and stored, and we can send it directly to clinicians. And they can then provide individual feedback to their patients to make sure the accountability is there. We have 3 fully functioning prototypes. One has been used in the home of a patient. She's a rheumatoid arthritis patient who's been struggling with the disease for 22 years. We've seen something here. She's using it 6 times more than current devices. We've also brought Rehand into multiple clinics. And we've had overwhelming support. We've had 40 patients look at the device, and they love it. We've also had over 20 physical therapists look at the device, and you know what they say? Not only do I want Rehand in the homes of my patients, I want it in my clinic as well. We know people want Rehand. How do we get it to them? In terms of FDA approval, this is a 510(k) exempt device. And in terms of manufacturing, it only costs $50 to produce. We don't need to wait any more approval. We can start selling Rehand tomorrow. And Rehand's just the tip of the iceberg. The idea of combining technology with rehabilitation therapy will revolutionize the home rehabilitation market. We hope to bring this and affect the lives of millions. In moving forward, we hope to even explore more and hopefully gain more devices that'll target additional parts of the body as well. Judges, patients don't just want Rehand, they need Rehand. By helping us today, you're helping millions gain back their function and strength that they once had, their independence. Judges, I ask you today, pick up your pens with your physically capable hands, pick up your pens and sign the check for Rehand and get Rehand into the hands of millions that need it. You guys aren't using the stress ball anymore.
Judges, if you don't, we'll hunt you down and kill you. So the idea is to incentivize the patients to do their therapy by connecting it to a video game. What's the video game?
Sorry, I guess I'm not like, excuse me.
Oh, it's fine. So it's a helicopter game, and you're just basically trying to avoid the blocks.
I see. If I may add my entrepreneurial suggestion to you, 2 words. Angry Birds. All right, before
this is just the beginning, and we have other games in mind as well, so we're getting there.
You're gonna have Angry Birds?
We're getting there, we're getting there.
Now, before we get to the judges, I have a very special announcement tonight. We will be giving away floor prizes to random people in the audience. Well, 1, and this is it. Here we go! Oh, I'm sorry! The medic will be here in 10 minutes. Just hit a 90-year-old man. All right, judges, what do you think? Technology meets hand rehabilitation.
So first I want to congratulate you guys on taking on a really sophisticated project. You've got gaming stuff, you've got hardware, you've got software, it's a medical application, it's outpatient, it could be inpatient, it's complicated. Congratulations for taking it on and for having such an elegant solution. The question I have for you has to do with the telemedicine aspect of this for home-based use. The reality is in the US, only about 20% of clinic settings and therefore physician offices are outfitted to do true electronic medical record handling. That's growing, but it's not growing that fast. The second problem is within that market, it's highly segmented. So you've got different file format demands, different data demands, different protocols at play. How are you thinking about that? Because I think the telemedicine aspect of this is in some ways the most fascinating, and so I'd like to understand how you're going to deal with that.
Sure, That's a very good question. We actually considered it, and we have all our files saved in a basic notepad file that can be accessible to anybody with a computer. There's no extra software necessary. Now, if you have the device and to send the software off to the doctor, they will have an external software which will just convert all the stored data and put it into a graphical format. So basically, you can just email off the notepad file with all the numbers as well as the graph, which is basically what the doctor needs to look at.
Nice.
Well, David, you're in the medical field. What's your take?
Sure. When I squeeze the ball, I get feedback that it gets tougher. Is there some kind of resistance? The harder you squeeze the button, the harder it is, or rotate?
Sure, it's all dependent upon the software. When you squeeze it, the buttons don't move. But when you put more pressure, the helicopter moves up further. And based on that, we'll have more games doing that as well.
And we've also calibrated the device. Even if you maybe have 2 times the strength that I can give, you can still play the same game that I can, because there's individual calibration, and we can set easy, medium, and hard mode based on our own calibrations.
May I?
Yep. Please.
Sure. I can answer the question somewhat more succinctly.
So kind of just squeeze it like a stress ball.
Oh, okay, so they don't move at all. The buttons do not move at all.
Okay.
It's
So
all
it's
electronic.
It's all electronic. You could do multi-touch. You know, I could zoom, rotate.
It's actually great because it can be set where you can use total grip strength or just 1 finger at a time or 2 fingers at a time. This individualized finger movement thing is not available in any devices out there. And speaking of finger movement, I see that all of you stopped using a stress ball. Now think about, now think if you had to do that an hour a day, 5 days a week, for a whole year, for your entire lifetime. You couldn't handle 3 minutes.
But to be honest, but to be fair, I only lasted 8 seconds on your thing, so. Paul, what do you think?
How big is this market? I mean, how big could this product be?
There are 30 million people in the US with hand weakness, and that sounds like a large number, but when we think of hand weakness, we only think of people affected by stroke or carpal tunnel or arthritis, but there's so many out there. People who get into accidents, work injuries, sports injuries, all these people, not all of them, but some of them have to have hand surgery, and they need to go in for that. They need to go into rehabilitation after that surgery. People with complex pain regional syndrome or hand edema. Hand edema can be caused by cardiovascular disease or breast cancer. This causes swelling in your arm, and this exercise that our device is capable of doing helps increase that blood flow, which helps you reduce that swelling and gain back that independence that you once had.
And can David hook this up to his Atari 2600?
You can. It's a plug-and-play interface. You can hook it up into any computer and start playing as long as you have the software, which will be very easily downloadable.
Actually, that's kind of a cool idea. Right now, all that force is just dissipating. You're directing it to a laptop, but the actual force itself is wasted. Imagine, if you will, in version 2.0, you've sold 30,000 of these things. You harness the actual force and do crowdsourced manual labor. You hook it up at the far end to a bricklaying machine. No? No?
See, that's a great idea.
Your
that's a great idea.
Absolutely free. No patent attorney needed. David, I think I might have just cut you off. You looked like you had one follow-up question.
Can you use it left hand, right hand, or is it
yes,
hand
it's
specific?
designed so that it can be used by any hand, left or right.
Can we get cut the rope while we're at it? Not just Angry Birds. Cut the rope, please.
Oh.
Yeah.
I thought you said, can we get cutthroat for just
Oh,
a
yeah.
minute? And I thought you were going to say, you people are awful! The thing that bothers me in today's InVenture Prize ceremony, I must say, is the discrimination on display. It's terrible. All this stuff about hand, hand, hand. What about people with foot injuries?
Exactly. So this is just the starting. Our idea is, this is just the starting of the whole company. It's just a hand rehabilitation device. This idea of bringing technology into home rehabilitation, that's what's important here. That's not been done before. This is just the first product. When we build our company, we'll go through products for the entire body.
Wow. All right, you put me in my place. Bahara, rescue me. Where are you, Bahara?
David, I'm backstage, but apparently, I was thinking the action is all back here, but apparently you're killing people out there, so the action's pretty much out there. But I'm here with some of our teams. Actually, this is Cardiac Tech, and I have Course Shark with me as well. I'm going to start by not touching you, and why is it that you didn't wear a clean pair of scrubs?
Well, actually, right before the show, I was in cardiac surgery, and I was performing a triple bypass, and I was using that old device that I was holding the whole time, and I had blood spewing all over me the entire time.
Whatever.
Nothing I could do to stop it.
Yeah, right. Anyway, Benji, so why do you think that Cardiac Tech should win?
We should win because our invention saves lives and solves a problem that's been around for nearly 60 years now.
It is pretty amazing. I mean, was it really nerve-wracking out there in front of the judges, and especially David, because I know he can be quite intimidating?
I was a little nervous at first, but Priya did really well on the pitch, and Kevin was able to field the questions. So I think we did.
So you're confident?
Yes.
Okay, and what about you with Course Shark here? Tell me, how do you think you did, James?
I don't know, I think I did better than I was thinking I would do, so that's definitely good. The questions, actually there was a little bit of a lack of questions. I thought there would have been more, but that's okay.
Okay, so one last question. What's the favorite course that everyone wants to take at Tech?
It seems like Calc 2 with Professor Morley. He seems to be the the best professor to take that with.
Wow, Professor Morley. I got to figure out who he is. Okay, Team Rehand, you just came off stage. Tell me, how did it go?
It went wonderful, and we have so much support in the audience today. We have our therapists, as well, physical therapists, as well as our patients in the audience, and we're really excited to show them and just be our motivation to do so well.
And so this actually works, right? You've had actual patients try this out.
Yes, we've had dozens and dozens of patients try it out, and they love it.
Okay, so if you agree as well and you want to vote for Team Rehand, then you've got to text HAND to 22333 or vote online. David, back to you.
Now tonight you're seeing the 6 grand finalists, the 6 of the dozens and dozens who are screened out to present to you tonight. But all those other people had projects too. They didn't make it. Maybe they ran out of steam. Maybe the equipment didn't quite hack it. Maybe the idea was just stupid. But fear not, there's always next year. Here's a look at some of those who didn't make the cut.
We invented Charge, the USB campfire generator. We invented the Gofi. It's a GPS-controlled thermostat. Essentially a portable coffee maker.
Complete control of your outlets and your appliances in your home.
So we're Team Lovelit, and we've created the Lovelit emotive communication device.
We are Team Truder, and our invention is a Truder website.
And just simply by holding the light. I guess it's not going to be coming on right now, so.
We're Team Heartthrob, and we invented the blood platelet occlusion reader.
Taplingo provides a better way to learn a new language.
It's really good function.
It was lighting up earlier, I swear.
The robot is a seat that is custom made to any individual's posterior. They sit into the foam so it gets an impression.
Hold it. Bobby's got the magic touch. Why don't Bobby, come on.
Here it goes, here's the magic. What's happening?
Our device is the Mac retractor.
We have invented the fiddle.
I invented the Hydro Retract.
Fiddle.
The problem that HydroTrack solves is dehydration.
Once you realize the power of being able to interact with the cloud from your pocket in everyday life, you'll never want to go back. And it's done in a way that's symbolic of a candle.
Our invention cleans the internal components of an engine.
Some of the catastrophic failures have been the most fun.
There is nothing like it.
Therein lies the humor.
Is that good?
Did I see that her sign called her product the Robot? And she wonders why she's not on the stage tonight? No, I mean, seriously, she's probably wondering why she's not on stage. Anyway, so they were very close, but as they say in the business, close but no $15,000. So it's a pretty good bet that the winner of next year's InVenture Prize is at this moment working on the project. So if you guys intend to be up here next year, you better get to the hard work. Exhibited in this next video.
I am Matthew Stoddard. I'm a senior in the School of Industrial Design. It's inside of the College of Architecture here at Georgia Tech. I saw what people were making up in the industrial design program, how they were working with their hands to create these really awesome products and tools for people to use. And I felt that I could definitely help people in terms of their daily lives. I bought an iPad and I wanted to use it to take notes in class as well as to draw some sketches with. And I bought several styluses for that, and none of them worked the way that I wanted. They were all pieces of junk because they had these big squishy tips, just like your finger. And I knew that there had to be a better way to draw on this beautiful screen. One of the biggest obstacles I overcame was how to make the line thicker as you pressed harder on it, just like what happens with the ballpoint pen, because I really wanted it to work just as well as a pen does on a piece of paper. I think what I've created is pretty great.
And here they are live to make their pitch, Team Styli.
Hi, my name's Matthew Stoddard.
And I'm Chris Bola.
And we're Team Styli. This is my fellow industrial design student, Ryan, and he's here to play artist for tonight. The iPad that I have in my hand here has been called magical, and for a lot of everyday tasks, that's a very good description. But that doesn't apply to everything. One job that seems tailor-made for a device like this that's so thin and portable with a touchscreen is to replace the notepad, to store your ideas, your drawings, and your notes. But that's something that it just doesn't do well, but people really want it to. Developers have made dozens of apps, and those apps have been downloaded millions of times. But the real issue is with the input, or how you interact with those apps. By default, you're stuck using your finger, and with your finger, you're drawing a line underneath it that you can't even see. There's no way to change that line that you're drawing unless you stop, open up a menu, and go back to it. All in all, it can be a tiring experience, and it quickly makes you want to go look for something more like the pen that you're used to. The problem with that is that it's going to be a capacitive stylus. And right now, a capacitive stylus doesn't solve any of the issues you have with your finger. You still can't see what's going on underneath that big squishy tip. It's no more expressive, and now you've got a new problem. You're so used to resting your palm on the piece of paper as you draw that you try to do that with a tablet, and you get random lines everywhere. And that's why we've invented the Styli and the accompanying Styli software. It allows you to have a single pixel wide line that you can actually see that is drawn in between two regular capacitive tips. But that's not the only advantage. If you slide the lock down on the Styli, it becomes a uniquely expressive tool. You simply apply pressure down on the Styli or on the sides of it, and those two tips move in and out. And that allows you to change anything you want about the line that you're drawing. In this demonstration, it's the line width. Now, one more advantage of this is that with these two tips, it's recognized differently from your finger, so that you can place your hand on the screen and you won't get errant marks everywhere. We've already been in contact with industry-leading manufacturers and software developers and gotten a positive response. David, I bet you know these CEOs, so maybe you can help us out on this one. The current design can be manufactured for under $5 and easily compete at market with a traditional stylus that costs anywhere between $20 and $30. During this pitch, there have been over 160 iPads sold, and all of them would benefit from having a Styli. And you don't have to take my word for it. I've got a working prototype and a Styli app on here right now that all of you can try out.
Really? There's an iPad under every seat? You're going to let me try this?
Just don't drop it.
You don't care about the $500 iPad, it's just your pen. All right. Let's see. Now, you know, guys, don't you, that Steve Jobs famously railed against Styli. He thought that they were an abomination. He thought that's why Windows tablets failed. If he were alive today, he'd be turning over in his grave. Wait. What, are you telling me that Steve Jobs was wrong?
No, not wrong, but I think what he was most concerned with was the operating system itself, not how you are able to be creative within that operating system.
Gotcha. All right, judges, what do you think?
So is your plan to build a company around this or to license the technology?
The plan is to license it to hardware manufacturers.
If you could pick any one of them to license it today, who would that be?
If I could pick anyone, it would probably be Wacom.
So the name of the product is Styli?
It is.
Now, Styli is generally considered the plural of stylus. So are you saying that you won't manufacture more than one of these? Because you have no plural.
I think it's kind of like moose and moose in that regard.
Stylus, styli, stylox.
Could be.
So you're not going to add a third I there?
Maybe. I'll think about it.
All right, so is that all the grilling you're going to do of these fine gentlemen?
So I have a question. If this, let's say this is successful, let's leap ahead. You're selling these things. They're in every iPad box that gets opened in America. My question then is, can you segment this market? Is there so much opportunity in the elegance of your design? Is there a kid learning to write stylus? Is there an artist stylus? Is there an adult who's got less grip strength stylus? Do you know where I'm going? Like, how far can you take this?
Absolutely. I think using different materials for it itself, as well as different configurations of features, be they wider or fixed for calligraphy, where you won't need necessarily, not calligraphy, but note-taking, where you wouldn't need the pressure sensitivity. That allows us to have several different price points and different variations on the same device.
Now, I have to say, you guys all couldn't see what I was drawing, but I had some trouble with it, to be totally honest with you. I had to really kind of bear down, and I was afraid to do that for fear of breaking it. So was I doing something wrong?
No, you're not. This is still most definitely a prototype.
Darn right I'm not. Good answer. Sorry, go ahead.
Oh, just that this is version 1, and if we win InVenture Prize today, we'll have the funds and the resources to make the last version of the styli, or the best version.
So this is about where it should be on the track?
I feel so, yeah.
You know what you should do? Colors. Do you have a choice of colors in mind?
We do, yeah. We've got a slide that we had up. We've got different metal or polycarbonate materials in varying colors, blue,
you
red.
You had it up already?
We did, yeah, while we were presenting.
I wasn't paying attention.
It may have been...
Sorry, I have a lot on my mind. Okay, so you're taking on Apple. You're saying Apple's product, over which they slaved for perfection, needs more perfection, and Steve Jobs was wrong.
Sort of.
Just one last thing. Have you seen the Nomad brush? It's a graphic paintbrush for the iPad, and it has capacitive threads in with the horsehair, and people swear by it.
Yeah, I was watching a video on that just earlier today, and with that one, it's still pretty similar to a regular stylus in so much as they can't detect how much of the surface is touching, so you still don't get any sort of pressure sensitivity. It's still just an on or an off.
I gotcha. All right, thank you, gentlemen. Team Styli. And I believe our roving reporter, Bahara, is standing by with a tidbit more. Bahara?
David, unlike you, I was paying attention, and I want that green styli. I'm actually here with Emma, who is Matthew's girlfriend. So, Emma, tell me, have you seen Matthew much?
No, not really. I see him sometimes to remind him to eat and shower.
Oh, yeah. Hygiene and food. Yeah. So, are you almost glad this thing is over then?
I am glad. I would really like my own styli because I still don't have one.
Oh, really? I think you deserve one, and I deserve one too. How about that?
I think everyone deserves one.
So therefore, we should vote for Team Styli.
I definitely think we should all vote for Team Styli.
Right. If you also agree at home that you think Team Styli should win, then you need to text, I can't even talk, need to text Styli to 22333, or you can vote online. Back to you, David.
Wait a minute. This is what passes for objective criticism, the guy's girlfriend? What's happened to journalism today? All right, 5 down, 1 to go. All of these guys are rock stars as far as I'm concerned, but so far none of them have been rock musicians. That's about to change. Let's watch this video.
My name is Michael.
I'm David.
And I'm Brad.
And we're Team DefPad.
We're all really big music fans. I played guitar and keyboard.
I've played guitar in a couple of local bands.
And I've played the piano for about 10 years and the violin for about 6.
Our invention actually started off as a senior design project.
Every band out there with a guitarist uses pedals to control their effects.
One of the problems with current effects units is it's a pedal, which means it has to sit in the same place.
But we discovered that there's a better way to do it.
Most music technology relies a lot on electrical engineering and science. It just made sense for us to combine the two into a project.
I think there's a perception out there sometimes that engineers are boring, mundane.
People with thick glasses and pocket protectors.
Nerdy people, and they just do classwork 24/7.
But really, that's not true. We enjoy music, we love going out, we love doing things that normal people like to do.
We saw this as an opportunity to use our technical skills
And combine two passions of ours together into creating this product. If you like something, then you'll obviously put your heart into it.
Ladies and gentlemen, you can tell just by their looks they are the next Metallica, Team DefPad.
Ladies and gentlemen, my name is Sarosh, and with me I have Mike, Brad, and David on the guitar. With a DefPad, a guitarist would be able to walk across this stage tonight and play any song while controlling two effects. An effect alters how a musical instrument sounds. And today, guitarists apply effects to a sound by controlling one of these, a foot pedal, and connecting it to their guitar. With a foot pedal, I have to step on this device every time I want to apply an effect. Sadly, I can only control one effect at a time. And if I wanted to control more, I'd have to have a crazy setup like this. And as you can see, guitar pedals are pretty ineffective at following Mike around. If I want to move around stage and control an effect, I can't. So we thought to ourselves, how can we walk and make cool effects at the same time? Well, you could pay somebody to use the pedal for you, but that's a little silly. So we got rid of the pedal and replaced it with a touchscreen. Using only one finger, David can control multiple effects simultaneously to make more creative music, and he doesn't even have to look at it. So we went out to see what guitarists thought about our new idea. Well, they described it as expressive, intuitive, and the perfect extension to their guitar. They also said they'd be willing to pay $300 or more for it. Now, we're looking to take their enthusiasm to guitar manufacturers to integrate our device with their new line of guitars. With a licensing agreement, we minimize the time to market, so musicians can get their hands on a DefPad guitar as soon as possible. And now that we don't have to worry about manufacturing, we can focus on building other features, like the effects library. With an effects library, guitarists will be able to buy additional effects for just a few extra dollars, rather than buying a whole new $50 pedal. Think of it as the Apple App Store of guitar effects. With these purchases, guitarists will be able to choose what two effects they want to play on the fly. So as you can see, with the DefPad, a guitarist gets everything they need in a single package: expandability, mobility, and creativity. Whether you're playing at the Fox Theater or in your garage, the DefPad will make a perfect replacement to your collection of guitar pedals. That's it.
So, are you able to demo it, or do we have a sound issue? Sound issue. All right. There was a rehearsal. It was really cool. Oh, we have it. Okay, never mind. We can do it. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, the triumph of technology. That's not what it's supposed to sound like? There is some music that sounds like that. You young kids today with your long music and your loud hair. All right, well, so is there a video someone could go see it? YouTube, is there?
Yeah, definitely. On you can go to youtube.com/DefPad.
DefPad, okay. What does DefPad stand for again?
Digital Effects Touchpad.
Right, I was paying attention. So judges, you were here during rehearsal. You saw that it works. He was sliding his pinky around on the touchpad to control the depth of the effect as he was playing. Very cool, and I can vouch for you that you were actually moving around and not dragging a pile of pedals behind you. You are all obviously former rockers. What do you think?
I just want to know if this is going to help me be a more effective air guitar player, or... All right, this is all about freedom of expression and creativity to unleash the expressiveness of a musician. Do you guys know who Pete Townsend is? You know, you ever listen to your grandparents' albums or anything? Okay. So like Pete Townsend does this thing called a windmill where he spins and goes like that. Can I do that with this device, which is still kind of bulky and obtrusive on the side of the guitar?
Well, we're working to integrate the device into guitar manufacturers' guitars, so it no longer will be bulky. So yes, you could.
So it'll be built in and flush into the body of the guitar.
Exactly.
Cool. And have you worked with any established musicians or prominent musicians to get their take on it and help you think through how to take it to market?
Well, we've gone to multiple guitar centers around Atlanta to see, just to see how guitarists use our device. And with the feedback they give us, we want to take these ideas and find a guitar industry that we can take these ideas to.
Cool.
Could you tell me what the average cost of a guitar is, and then what it would cost with this device on it?
Is it our problem, or does your thing just not work?
That's a good question.
It's unclear whether it's our.
Yeah.
I see.
There's a lot of buzzing going on.
Yeah, I'm sure it's our problem. Okay. Sorry. So it was a good question about how much does a guitar cost these days?
Do you know what an average?
There's a huge range. I mean, they can go from $100 to a couple thousand. So on average, they usually cost around $200 or $300. And if you have our dev pad, you get that plus
Closer
all
to the mic.
effects.
Closer to the mic. Recap that answer again. Closer to the mic.
Sorry about that. So guitars can cost anywhere from $100 to $2,000. There's a huge range. And with our dev pad, all you have to do is add $200 or $300 to that price, and you get all the effects you'll ever need. You don't have to spend hundreds, thousands on a bunch of pedals like that mess we had up earlier.
And what about the whammy bar? Isn't that the purpose of a whammy bar?
Yeah, exactly. The whammy just bends your strings, but what we have here is digital effects, so you can do anything with it.
I see. All right, gentlemen. Well, sorry about the technical troubles. I'm sure it's our fault. It did work in rehearsal. Thanks for coming by. So that is the end of our 6 presentations. You've done well under the circumstances, gentlemen. It is now time to say goodbye to our panel, or see you later, because they are going to retreat to their hidden bunker and debate and deliberate and choose a winner for the contest. See you guys when you get back. In the meantime, Bahara, what do you got for me?
Hi, David. I actually am here with Chris, one of the roommates of the team. And so I'm actually going to ask Chris, tell me, how many loud, noisy nights did you have in the dorm room while they perfected their invention?
I had a lot of long nights the last couple of weeks. They kept me up till 2 or 3 a.m. in the morning.
So you're probably going to ask for a percentage of the prize if they win, right?
At the very least.
Yeah, I agree. I think that's what you should do. So why do you think this is so cool?
Well, because I've heard them play it with a lot of different songs. They were trying to choose one to play up there even though they didn't get to, and they all sounded really good.
So you can attest to the fact that they sound real good.
It's awesome.
Okay. Well, in that case, apparently we have a Team Deaf Pad supporter right here. We are at the last of our presentations tonight, and so right now the People's Choice Award is actually open. So if you would like to go ahead and get out your phones and start texting for your favorite invention, since our final team just finished their last presentation. Let me go ahead and give you the texting information again. Text voting is now officially open. So if you want to vote for Team Intrepid Wake for the People's Choice Award, text WAKE to 22333. If you want to vote for Team Cardiac Tech, then text Cardiac, CARDIAC, to 22333. If you want to vote for Team Course Shark, it's C-Shark, C-S-H-A-R-K, to 22333. If your favorite for the People's Choice Award is Team Rehand, then text HAND, H-A-N-D, to 22333. If you think Team Stylize should win, then you want to text S-T-Y-L-I-I to 22333. And if your choice for the People's Choice is Team Deaf Pad, then text DEFT to 22333. Remember, you can also vote online at www.pollev.com/InVenture. But hurry up and vote right now, because the window won't be open for that long. David?
Can you hang on 1 second? I'm just busy texting. One time I spoke at a technical conference where they tried an experiment. Everybody was obviously taking notes on their laptops, and they decided to use a program called Sub-Etha Edit, which lets everybody collaborate on a single set of notes for the entire talk. So while the speaker was speaking, people didn't have to reinvent the wheel. So then the next year, they decided to try to project that chat room on the screen behind the speaker. It was a disaster. The speaker would say something, and people would go, "That's not true." And then one time, the worst of all, the guy was giving a talk, and his phone rang, and he goes, "Oh, it's just my son." And someone in the chat room goes, "The cat's in the cradle and the silver spoon." Okay, Bahara, what have you got for me right now? Where are you?
I have the greatest surprise. So I'm actually here with David Sullivan from Holy Spirit Preparatory School. So David, how old are you?
I'm 11.
You're 11. So what is your favorite subject at school?
Science, definitely science.
I didn't pay you to say that, did I?
No, you did not.
Okay, exactly. Just for the record, people. So do you want to be an inventor someday?
Definitely. My friend and I love inventing things. They never really work out the way we plan, but we're hoping one of these days it'll turn out all right.
Well, you know what you need to do to make it work?
More work?
Well, that, and you need to come to tech.
I will.
Okay. All right. Thank you, David. All right. So we're going to go back to you since the texting is going on. And I guess, David, do you have some information for us yet or not quite yet?
I have a special treat for you. We're going to take a live look backstage at the judges as they work hard to decide the winner of the 2012 InVenture Prize, which is no easy feat, making that decision. Look at them. It's like one of those nature shows, isn't it? Watch as both the male and female judges use their razor-sharp instincts and keen sense of smell to rate each contestant on the 3 relevant factors: innovation, marketability, and most importantly, the ever difficult to rate inventor passion. Okay, they've definitely got their work cut out for them tonight. And now, you might, in addition to the $15,000, the admission to Flashpoint, and the free services of a patent attorney, for our first place winner, all the teams tonight will take something else with them: momentum. They will have developed a product that might even be ready to go to market. So then what happens? What happens when you win? Where do you go from here? To answer that question, we wanted to show you what the InVenture Prize has done for some former contestants. Take a look.
My name is Daniel Cheney, and I won the 2011 InVenture Prize.
My name is Sarah Wise. I was the second place winner of the Georgia Tech InVenture Prize in 2010.
We're team made for the magnet-assisted intubation device. We won second place in InVenture last year.
Since I won first place in the People's Choice Award at the 2010 InVenture Prize, Titan has expanded rapidly.
I invented a novel drum tuning system that allows you to change the pitch of your drums to make one drum sound like 4 or 5.
It was a class project that we kind of decided to go a little bit the extra mile, and then getting second place was like going the extra 100 miles.
Since this time last year, I have teamed up with one of my old instructors, Mark, and we've been working to refine the design and develop a production-ready model.
I'm very excited. I just got my patent approval, and so we're moving forward on that end.
You know, all of a sudden we had a patent, we had $10,000. And then like 2 months later, we got an additional $25,000, and it went really far.
We actually started sales March 1 of last year, and we actually broke even within 8 months of sales. Well, winning the contest was very validating and encouraging because it gave me kind of that push and that confirmation that it wasn't just me that thought it was a good idea, that it could do well out in the world.
So I've been going out to elementary, middle, high schools and just explaining the innovation process, breaking that down that they too can be an inventor. It's something that any person with a good idea can pursue.
I'm actually currently looking at securing warehouse space. We're looking at about 10,000 square feet.
With the push from InVenture, it became real. That validation that did address a real problem.
Being an entrepreneur is extremely hard. It's a lot of ups and downs. It's a roller coaster ride.
It's nothing we've ever done before. We've never started a company.
Once you get that bug, you just can't get rid of it. What I'm looking forward to the most right now is finally holding that fully finished product and handing it off to someone who wants to use it.
Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the winner of last year's InVenture Prize, the inventor of the slide capo, Daniel Cheney, is here. Good to see you, sir. Good to see you. So, Daniel, it did not end with this night last year for you, did it?
It did not, no.
Where are you now?
Now I'm proud to say that we just produced our first run of pre-production slide capos. In the next few weeks, we'll be scaling up the production on these and making them available to everyone.
That's extremely exciting. So there's life after InVenture Prize.
It definitely is.
You're going to stick around and help us present the People's Choice Award, aren't you?
I am.
All right, in the meantime, Bahara, check in. Or not.
David, as you alluded, there are a few minutes left to cast your vote for our People's Choice winner. I'm back here. The tension is extremely high. As you can tell, you know, they're kind of screaming behind my ear. So guys, how nervous are you? You really nervous tonight?
A little bit.
But you have confidence you're going to win?
Yeah, I hope so.
Okay, well, let's see. I think it's about that time, isn't it, David? Are our votes in for the People's Choice Award and our judges ready?
As a matter of fact, they are. They have just returned. You guys, how does it go? Was their hair pulling? Were their claws out?
It's tight.
This guy's rough. He's very rough. Yeah.
So you've arrived at a decision?
We have.
All right. With that, we're going to close the voting for the People's Choice. That's all over. And let's bring all our teams back on stage so we can give you some good news and some bad news. All the teams, come on back out. Ladies and gentlemen, another round of applause. For all of our teams tonight, Entrepic Wake, Cardiac Tech, Course Shark, Rehan, Styli, and DefPad. I know everybody is very eager to hear the judge's decision for the winners of the big money, but first things first, before we get to that, let's find out how you viewers at home voted for the People's Choice Award. Bahara and Daniel, are you ready?
I am.
Absolutely. It was extremely close, David. But I'm happy to join Daniel in announcing the winner of the 2012 Georgia Tech InVenture Prize People's Choice Award, made possible in part by the generous support of NCR. So, the winner is...
Cardiac Tech.
Congratulations. So, I have to ask you, does this make your heart go pitter-pat?
It definitely does, yes, we're excited.
Congratulations, the people voted for you. Doesn't matter what these boneheads thought. All right, congratulations again. And now, it's the moment we've all been waiting for, or I should say almost the moment. Before we announce the winner of the 2012 InVenture Prize, let's bring forward the top two finalists. This would be the winner and the runner-up. I'm not going to tell you which is which. They are Styli and excuse me. Sorry, excuse me. And Rehand. Okay, those two teams should stay on the stage. The rest of you, thanks for playing. All right, so judges, tell us about how you arrived at your decision.
Well, one of the things that we were very interested in, and let me ask a question and make a comment to Team Rehand in particular, is the way you described your product, your idea, your technology, was very much like a platform company. You know, you go after this initial market, and these same elements of your design, of your system, could then be applied to subsequent markets. And I think you even mentioned this, perhaps in our Q&A. What other markets have you thought about?
The same technology can be applied for your hand, for your arm, for your legs. It can be applied to any rehabilitation that's done for your entire body.
And to all ages as well. We're looking at children, even youth, adults, the whole market.
All right, well done to you judges, well done to you guys, and now, the moment of truth. The moment you've been waiting for. No more delay, no more procrastination, no more going on and on, no more faking coughing fits. All right, you get the idea. Without further ado, the winner of the 2012 Georgia Tech InVenture Prize is Team Rehand. Before we go, let's bring all the teams back out on stage. Come on, everybody, join us, come on. Wipe the tears, join us one more time. Let's have a big hand for all of our finalists. Okay. So congratulations. So millions of hand sufferers might have something more interesting to do than squeeze the stupid rubber ball.
This is beautiful. We have a real need for this device, and we're very excited. Our motivation was our patients, and we believe we can get this to their hands.
Is there something concrete you can do with the prize money?
We're definitely going to make more devices. We're going to get prototyping, and we're going to get this in the hands of people that really need it with the money, and that's what we're going to do.
Well, hear, hear. Thank you for everything you're doing. All right, thanks to everyone who watched tonight. On behalf of Barah Azizi, I'm David Pogue, and while necessity may be the mother of invention, Georgia Tech is the daddy. Good night, see you next year!
Funding for this program was made possible in part by the National Collegiate Inventors and Innovators Alliance, the ACC Interinstitutional Academic Collaborative, the Georgia Tech Research Corporation, NCR, AT&T, and viewers like you.
There is only one place where great students and advanced technology strike just the right note.
This is a GPB original production.